Good evening, everybody. It is Sunday night at 7 o'clock. It's WOSFL Weekly with your host, Jonny Baillie, and delighted this week to be joined by Pollock first team coach Josh Gardner. Josh, how are you doing?
I'm really good, mate. I'm good. Enjoying the good weather we're having. But it's good to get back on. I always like talking about the West, getting a wee laugh and seeing what the carry-on's happening is.
Aye, definitely. And I think it's good. I think this will be a really good show, particularly for Pollock fans. Although I don't know how much Maxie's going to let you give away, but it'll be good to find out a bit because we seem to be talking about it regularly on the show and on the channel and stuff like that about the goings on at Pollock and things like that. So it'll be interesting to hear from the horse's mouth, so to speak, how things are going. So look forward to catching up with you a bit later on in the show. Right, okay, if you are watching on YouTube, as always, please get involved. Give us your comments, any questions for myself. If any Pollock fans out there that are watching have any questions for Josh, I'm sure no difficult ones though, please, but I'm sure he'll do his absolute best to answer them. If you're happy with your team's result yesterday, there was loads and loads of games, including the South Challenge Cup. So we probably won't get to absolutely every single game, but we'll cover the leagues in detail, and then we'll kind of go through the cup. So if you want us to talk about your particular team, if you think there was a really good result or whatever, then please drop it in the comments and we'll discuss it. Any questions, anything like that, then please let us know as well. If you could do us a massive favour, take 2 seconds and hit the like button on the video and subscribe to the Pyramid Promotions YouTube channel. It all means a lot to us. We really do appreciate it. It takes 2 seconds and it makes a big difference for us. And if you want to help the channel out even further, you can become a member for not a lot of money. And again, that goes a long way to helping with the content that we're trying to put out here at Pyramid Promotions. Just before we get started, quick word to our sponsors. Roxburgh Insurance Brokers. If you're needing any insurance needs, then please get in touch with the guys up at Roxburgh and they will sort that out for you. And VSN Sport, you might see I'm sporting my Pyramid Promotions VSN t-shirt tonight. So thanks to Gary for sorting the guys at Pyramid Promotions out with some quality kit. If you're looking for some for your own team, then get in touch with the guys at VSN. The number's at the bottom of the screen. And last but very not least is GLA Chauffeurs. If you're needing any chauffeuring needs, whiskey tours, golf tours, etc., then please get in touch with the guys at GLA Chauffeurs. Okay, Josh, we'll start with the Premier League. As I said, we'll get stuck into it. And I suppose we might as well just meet the Pollock thing head on. Why don't we?
Go for it.
How was the game yesterday? First
half, I thought it was a wee bit itchy peachy, to be honest with you. We got a questionable penalty and went 1-0 up. I've watched it back. I don't think it's a penalty, if I'm being totally honest. Saying that, Bob still needs to step up and put it away, which he does quite easily. And then, if I'm being totally honest, I thought the second half we were abysmal, if I'm being honest. I thought we weren't good enough. I thought we were poor. And in my opinion, Largs thoroughly deserved the victory, if I'm being totally honest about it. I just thought we were miles off it, in fairness.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting because I remember speaking to you last week about last week's result, and you said that you've played better and lost.
Aye.
But yesterday was just, you kind of got what you deserved, do you feel, yesterday?
Certainly for the second half, I kind of felt we struggled to get out. In fairness to Largs were brilliant, to be fair, in the second half. I thought they were really good. Thought their substitutions really impacted the game really well. And for me, they were well worthy of their win yesterday. And they didn't particularly play bad in the first half, to be honest with you. As I said, it was just, I think we just matched them a wee bit more and it was a bit more itchy peachy. But the second half for us, and I don't think the gaffer around at the club would mind me saying, it's just unacceptable half of football for us, and it shouldn't happen again. Mm-hmm. And I think our feelings were made clear about that after the game as well.
Mm-hmm. Aye, absolutely. And I think we actually spoke to Stuart Davison, the Largs manager, after the game. I was on Saturday Football Live yesterday, and we spoke to Arnie, and he kind of was reiterating what you said, but it was interesting because I don't know if he'd saw his interview from the week before, from last week.
He wasn't happy.
He wasn't happy, and I think he made a few changes to the side today, and he said that worked, and he said what also pleased him was the impact that the subs coming on had, and it's interesting that you're just mentioning that as well as a big impact in the game.
Aye, they did, and because even I think it's Blair Devine that came on at left wing for them, and the left winger was actually playing really, really well before that. One of the ones you're quite happy to see him go off. He was having that good a game, so I don't know why he got took off, but there was no drop at all when Blair came in as well. So that's credit to them. But again, from a Pollock point of view, which is obviously what I need to look at it for, I think we could have been doing so much more to stop them and nullify them and get ourselves up the pitch a wee bit more, and I don't think we did. But again, as we said, it's a new group for us, and there's a lot of people sampling the level for the first time, but that's not an excuse for me. It's not like at the end of the day, it might be the Premier League and boys coming from first division, second division, first, fourth, some of them. At the end of the day, it's a game of football. And you need to be able to match who you're up against and take it for there. And it just wasn't good enough across the board. By the way, and that's not just the players. It's on us all. So we can't just all take the plaudits at the one time. And if we win, it's on us all as a team.
Aye, I think you've got to have minimum standards at any level. If you're wanting to achieve something or do something, you need minimums. And if they're not been met, then that's when you're entitled to
be worse.
Aye,
to be worse after that.
Worse. So,
I dare say the Army's done the same through the
listen, it's funny as well, because I think sometimes, as with my coaching / managing hat on, sometimes I think when you have a go at the players or when you talk to the players, I think sometimes they think that you don't take any responsibility. Do you know what I mean? But what they don't see is the fact that we'll go home on a Saturday night and no talk to anybody for hours and think over and over about the game or the team or what we said at half time or what we said from the side and all that kind of thing. It really is a collective, and I think sometimes players maybe lose sight of that.
Definitely, and I think it's not just that as well, Jonny. It's like, I don't know about anybody else, but I know me, when I'm in that situation, the first thing I think about, did I support them? Did I do my job right? Is there stuff that I could have done better? And I think if everybody had to share that sort of level of ownership, I think you would get somewhere a lot quicker. But the problem is when you don't want to take the ownership and you don't think there's anything wrong and you don't have great self-analysis of yourself, then it becomes a huge issue. And I think the best thing that any coach player can have in the game is good self-analysis of yourself and being able to be honest with yourself and say, no, that wasn't good enough. Because I think most players know when it's not good enough. And for me, it's what you do next. And it's not just the next game, it's what you do in the next session. It's what do you do the next day? How do you get recovered? Because I always say people have good games and bad games, but the difference between the good players and the great players is they'll not have two bad games in a row. So it's up to us we look to, never mind fans and all the rest of it, they look to themselves to put in a performance next week against Johnstone Borough, which is going to be tough. But it is still 11v11 at the end of the day, and we just need to go and put the performance in that we deserve to be putting in for the fans and for themselves. Because they do train hard. That's what annoyed me more so. We do train hard. The boys are brilliant. They're really trying and they're doing well. They just let themselves down. But listen, let's be honest, they're not the first group of players that's done that. We've all done it. So it is what it is. It's what we move on to now. But that's totally unacceptable for what we've seen in the second half.
On the season as a whole, how are things been with the new group? Because Des and I were talking yesterday in the studio that us as, loath to call myself a pundit, but us as pundits, we look at results.
Yourselves now?
I don't know. Talking head or something like that will do. Idiot. I don't know. I've been called a lot worse. It'll probably get us kicked off YouTube. But we see results and we react to results and we kind of fill in the blanks from there, obviously. But looking at your results, you have been in almost every game apart from the Auchinleck game, but then looking at the pattern that Auchinleck have thrown together in the last 5 weeks, I don't think that's anything to be ashamed of, that result. So how have things been going with the new group?
I think you're right in terms of the results, and we've got to look at that because we're not getting hammered. We're well within games. and you've got to take them in isolation. I thought the Beeve game, if I'm being honest, we should have got something out of. I thought we played well enough. I thought we knocked the ball a bit well at times. I thought we defended well at times, and there was just little wee things that were an issue. If I'm being honest, the Talbot game on the Wednesday night midweek down there, I think came too soon for the group, in my opinion. I felt that's something I'd maybe like to have seen towards Christmas, a few months in. But again, that's only my opinion. I felt we just weren't quite ready for the Talbot just yet. And then when we went in against, who was the one after that? Glenafton. Again, I felt we should have took something for that as well. And then at same Glencairn, I think the gaffer was open about it in his interview. We didn't perform well, but we got the result. So they've showed us loads of positive signs, and it's no one thing I will say for the Pollock fans that are watching. It doesn't need keyhole surgery. It's not that. It just needs wee minor things fixed. But as you know as well as me, it might take a bit of time. It doesn't mean because it's minor that it's going to be quick. It just means that it might take a wee bit of time. But we're not a million miles away. It's just we've got a bit of work to do in the training ground, and we just need to keep working at it, keep being positive, because there is loads of positives. And there is signs in there that we're doing well with certain things. But like every team, we've got flaws and we need to get better at them. And obviously when you're not getting the results, the flaws become bigger. I've never really read into that. The flaws are the flaws, regardless of the result. So that's what we need to look at. And I don't think the group's honest as well. They're an honest group. They know where the flaws are. We've highlighted it. We'll speak about it further on Monday night. We're trying to get the marginal gains as much as we possibly can throughout the club and how we're approaching games and training and stuff. So it's going to get there. It's just going to take time, and we just need to be strong together and just keep battling through it, to be honest with you. But there's a good group there, and they're exciting. Once they get going, I'm hoping it'll be an exciting group for the Pollock fans to watch.
Yeah, I've kind of said, and I said it yesterday a couple of times, that I think, and I know this is difficult for yourself as a coach and Stuart Maxwell, the manager, because you don't want to think like this. But I think the proof in the pudding for Pollock for you guys will be this time next year as to where you're at. But just off the back of that, Craig's just asking a wee question in the chat there, just saying, like, what have you set any expectations for this season? Are you aiming for that top 8 position, or are you just, because of the recognition of the new group, are you just seeing how it goes?
Obviously, I think at the start there was obviously going to be this thing where, because where we were signing our players from and the sort of shops we were getting into, so to speak, people probably thought it was because there was no relegation. I think I said this in the first podcast. Whether it was 3 going down, 4 going down, or 5 going up, it didn't really matter. This is where Pollock would have had to have shopped anyway. This is the business we would have had to have done. For me, I think when there's top 8 going up, I think you'd be daft not to go for it, because let's be honest, we see it all the time midway through the season. A team can be sitting lower end of the table, and then they get 2 or 3 wins together, and then before you know it, they're sitting in 6. And you end up with that wee random bunch of teams in the mid-table area. So the aim, for me personally, will very much be top 8. I think you'd be daft not to go for it. I've always got this wee saying that the actual boys at WOSFL used to slag me for it, but I always used to say, if you aim for the stars, you might just land in the moon. And that's just, I just always think you should, why aim lower than what you should be aiming? Do you know what I mean? It's a bit like the exam analogy. Like, if you need a B, why would you aim for just a B? Why don't you just aim for an A? And if you fall a wee bit short, then you might get the B that you needed, but at least you were aiming for something a wee bit higher. And I think everybody should be thinking like that. I think we've all got to be. I think any club in the setup now that's saying they're no aiming for top 8's a liar, to be honest with you. I think you've got to be, like, if you don't back yourself,
I think it's probably been in the back of everybody's mind, to be honest.
If you can't back yourself to finish top 8 in a league, Jonny, you shouldn't be in the game, to be honest with you. I think regardless of what challenges you're facing off the pitch or on the pitch, you need to be backing yourself to do that. And listen, I think we'll get it. Who knows? But we'll give it a right good go, and we'll try our best, and we are trying our best, and we'll continue to try our best. But I'm hoping it works out for us. But we've got a lot of work to do, but there's a lot of positives as well.
Good. Aim for perfection, and you might hit very good, is the one I heard.
I like moons and stars and all that. Why not go with it?
Right, okay. A team that looks as if they're there would need to be a massive shock for them not to finish in the top 8. Probably, definitely would be Auchinleck. You played them midweek. They beat you 4-0. They go to Beath yesterday and win 2-0. We were following it in the studio, 1-0 at half time. Beath maybe still in the game, and then Beath got a man sent off to Auchinleck score, and then it's pretty much game over for there.
I was really impressed with him, Jonny, to be honest. I really was. You know, they get branded this, they just boom it long and chase after you. That's not what they do at all. They don't. Do you know what's really interesting? Tucker always seems to sign these players that we've not really heard of and then you recognise him. He's a Talbot player straight away. Like, you just go, he's a Talbot player. There's a few boys in the team who go, I've not quite heard of him. Where's he for? And before you know it, he's a brilliant player, and you go and look at where he got, and it might be for the 3rd division, and he's so good at that, and he's been so good at it for years. But when I watched him, I was impressed. I thought they had a great blend. They went to play, went to go long. Even the passes in behind were brilliant. The way they press you, their work rate's exceptional as well. They just proper get after you. They don't let you breathe. They don't let you lift your head up. I think the signing of Luke Main is a good one as well for UK. I think he fits the mould of them really, really well. And for me, I don't know how. I don't see a world where they don't finish even in the top 2 fighting for the league, to be honest with you, never mind the top 8. But they're a serious outfit, and I was right impressed with them, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. I've got a couple of comments in the chat. Just Mike Cameron just saying it'd be a couple of chances at 1-0, probably closest any team's got. And Craig's just commenting there saying it was quite scrappy. Beath quite a physical side. Could have been 2 other men sending off. But looking forward to this weekend.
I watched the highlights here. Mm-hmm. I think is it Thomas Collins, I think, was 1-on-1 with the goalie, and he'll be right disappointed with that, to be honest with you. But it did look a meaty affair, to be honest with you. I think Ross Davidson got sent off. It looked like he just kicked the boy, but it sounded like a bit of a meaty one. But again, Talbot can do that as well. Do you know what I mean? They can roll the sleeves up and go toe-to-toe with you that way as well. But they've not really if they have got a weakness, it's not a big weakness.
Mm-hmm. Yep, definitely. And Talbot go to Troon at the weekend, which will be a cracker. I'm gonna be at that one. I'm really looking forward to it. Final game in the Premier League, Rutherglen get a really good 3-2 win against Shotts. That's a really good result for them. Picking up their first win of the season, beating Shotts 3-2.
I think they really needed that, Jonny, to be honest, because obviously they lost out in a last-minute goal to us to deny them anything to the game. And the exact same happened at Atherley midweek straight after us as well. 2 set pieces at the end as well, right at the end of the game. So I know that was sticking in their throat, but they played really well against us and they should have got something. And for what I've seen in the highlights, they played well against Atherley as well. So they'll be so glad to get the 3 points on the board. But they're a good side as well. They're a top side. Got loads of good players. So it's a good 3 points because they'll be disappointed with how the weeks went.
Mm-hmm. Aye, and it's important to bounce back. And on the other side of it, Shot still looking for that first win of the season. John McKay will be working his socks off to try and get them off the run.
They're another good side as well, isn't it? There's no easy games in the league at all, is there?
No, that's it. And we talk about it all the time, Josh, about the margins just in the Premier League, and we speak about it with you guys and your new squad, and we've got teams coming into the league like Rutherglen and Atherley, Renfrew. And I think that's one thing that we've spoken about quite regularly is just those fine margins.
It's obviously my first year in the Premier League, and obviously I've been in League 1 and League 2 before, but that's one thing I've noticed. It's very similar to the leagues. The margin for error can be so little at times. It could literally just be that you've maybe just off a man a yard in the box and he gets a good header and it's in. And similar to what happened to us yesterday, to be honest with you. The guy loses you half a yard and it's a good header and it's in the back of the net and you're going him a hee-haw. And that's generally that's how the margins can be. But I wouldn't have it any other way. That's what you want.
No, that's it. And listen, if you want to be involved at this level, then that's what you need to be. You sign up for, right? Moving on into the first division, really impressive result for Ardrossan going to Irvine Meadow and winning 2-1. I was really impressed with that. I probably didn't see that one coming, to be honest with you.
That seems to be a wee bit of a bogey team for Irvine Meadow, because I'm sure I watched Jamie midweek on Paul's podcast, and I heard them saying that they get 6 points off them last year as well. and they've obviously taken another 3 off them now. So Jamie will be disappointed with that, but he's done a great job so far at the Meadow. So I've no doubt they'll bounce back, but for a Drawson, it's a good victory, and that should maybe push them a wee bit as well. So no surprises there, because it's just two good sides going at it. As you say, it's the small gains, isn't it?
Aye, that's it. That's what it's all about. It's just two decent sides at the top of the league. I think for Jamie, they've had an unbelievable start to the season, and I suppose from now it's just about, when you get that first loss, it's just about regrouping and going again.
That's it. He's had a busy period as well, Jamie, so it'll be taking its toll on the players as well. He'll not use that as an excuse, obviously, but
I know. I think it is gritty though, and it's funny because I said that again at the weekend, that Drawson didn't have a game. I don't think had a game in midweek, and yet Irvine Meadow did. And whether that would impact it, you'll probably know how much of an impact those midweek games can have on your weekends.
Especially if it's a bit of travel, Jonny, as well. And it's not even that. You lose the training night. That's the hard bit. You lose the training night, and then see if the game doesn't go well and you've not got a training night after it, you can't really get talking about it or proper fix the problems, because you've got a game straight away. So all you can do is speak about it and hope that it goes in. But you know yourself, you need to go out the pitch sometimes to feel it as well. So that's the big. I've never been. I hate midweek games. They do my head in. Everybody's rushing about it. It sends my OCD through the roof, to be honest.
I know it's murder. It's murder, isn't it? And Darvel and Muir Cup drawn 1 each. Darvel got that first victory last week. We're probably hoping to kick on from there, but get pegged back by Muircup. Although coming from behind, Muircup went level and Darvel came back to get a draw. But who do you think would be happier with a point at that one?
Don't know. It's a hard one because you don't really know how the game went and how the feel of the game was. But I think Muircup have been pretty steady in that league so far. Heard a few wee grumbles of people maybe thinking like, "Oh, I wonder if they'll struggle in this league." Is that maybe went beyond their level? I don't think they have. I think they've got a great group there. I think they've got a really good manager as well, to be honest. And I think Ross will be. Well, he probably will now, because he probably aims for high things as well. But he probably wants a bit of a better start. But I think it's a steady start going into that first division. And I think Darvel are a top side as well. And I think Mick will get that going pretty soon as well. And they'll go on a good run of form as well. You know what it's like in that league? If you can go and put 4 or 5 runs together, before you know it, you fly up a few positions, don't you?
I think so as well. I think so. I spoke to Ross Cusick, the Muircup manager, and he was just saying it was a really good game of football. Sounds like a bit of a game of two halves. They took the game to Darvel in the first half, few opportunities, hit the woodwork, got the goal late in the half. Second half, Darvel changed it up, pushed them back, got more balls into the box, although they missed a couple of chances to death. So probably a draw was the fair result. Aye. And another draw, Petershill and Rob Roy drawing 1 each. I'm a wee bit surprised at Rob Roy's start to the season, to be honest with you, Josh. Still looking for that first victory.
I think they went a wee similar run last year as well, though, didn't they, Jonny?
They were down the bottom for a long period last year, and then they brought some players in. I remember they went through a wee period where they seemed to be bringing a player in every week, and then they really picked up. And that's probably why a lot of people maybe expected them to kick on and carry that on into the season. It's not quite kicked into gear yet for them.
I think it's the off the pitch stuff as well, though, Jonny. In it, it's like they've now got the stadium. They've got a good group of players. They have got a good squad. So I think maybe that expectation is people want them now to start kicking on. Now they've got a home and they've had the settling in period to the stadium as well. So I'll be honest, I was probably expecting them to be kicking on and have probably a better start than what they would. That doesn't mean to say they'll not be up there. I do think now that they've got the stadium in the setup and they've got a good fan base, Rob Roy's a Premier League club in my opinion, and the way now that they've got all that in place for me, and I think that's where they should be aiming to be in the future.
Aye, we were talking about it in the studio yesterday. You look at that division, apart from probably Lanark, who have obviously know their troubles to seek in the summer, you wouldn't be surprised at any of the other 15 finishing that top 8.
Aye, I know, and that's what makes it so good, isn't it? And that's where it's quite hard. Somebody actually asked me that not that long ago. Who do you think the top 8 will be? And I was like, no idea. I can't even, because I could change my mind on it every week, to be honest with you, every time a score comes in. And probably your top 8 could change straight away, you know, because I think I tipped Darvel for the league at the time, so who knows, to be honest with you. Just ask me that closer to me and I'll tell you who's attacking.
And we'll probably still get it wrong. That's one of the good things about putting yourself out there. You get it wrong more than you get it right. Okay, into the second division. Les Mahago go to Cambuslang and get a good 2-1 victory. That's a really good result for them. Cambuslang had started the season well. Les Mahago look as if they're hitting a wee bit of form.
I think it was only a matter of time before Darryl got that kicking into gear, to be honest with you. He knows what he's doing. He's not a daft guy at all. Really good manager, good coach. Played against his teams before as well. They're very well coached. They're well drilled. They play some good football at times as well. So I don't think they'll have any problems whatsoever, the guy. And to be honest, I don't think Paul at Canby will have any issues either. I think they'll be in that sort of top 8 as well. For me, team I was impressed with, I seen Bellshill. They're quite impressive in that league, by the way.
They're going really well. Jonny Fallon's coming on the show next week, so it'll be good to find out a bit more about
I'll
them.
get the viewers up again once I've put them down the night.
Aye. Thorn drawing 1 each with Bonneton. I fancied Thorn to get a win there, but I did say that it's funny because Craig McGee's actually giving us a bit of stick in the chat there. He's just saying about the hopes the panel doesn't put any. He's obviously listened to the Saturday show, put money in their coupons at the weekend, couldn't pick a winner. But you're absolutely right. But listen, that's what we do. We put ourselves out there. We're there to get shot down.
Couldn't they pick their nose, Craig? That's what it is.
I know. Listen, that's it. I just like a bit of drama though, so I'm always looking for something. I think I picked Bellshill to beat Arthur yesterday just because I fancied an upset somewhere, you know. So I'm all about the entertainment value. Don't take it seriously. Thorn drawn with Bonneton. I spoke to Ian Waite, the assistant manager at Bonneton. He was just saying that Thorn edge possession, which you wouldn't really be surprised without really troubling their goal. He felt they had the best of the chances. Second half, they scored in 5 minutes. From their continuation of the first half, but they still had the better chance without dominating the ball. Thorn scored with 10 to go, and the game becomes a little end to end. Another day, if they're more clinical, they win the game, but pick up a good point at a place where not a lot of people probably will pick up points.
I'd agree. Thorn are a top side that I think I've been quite vocal on my feelings for Thorn. I really like them. Even when they played against me in the 4th division, I was just big fans of them. I love the way they. It's no secret how I like football to be played in Thorn. Thorn are right into that bracket for me. Love watching them, love the way they play. Get good players, but the Achilles heel to that, if you're having a poor day on the ball and a poor day in possession, and your setup behind your possession isn't quite right, you can easily get caught in the counter attack. And Bonnet and have the dangerous players that they can hit you on the counter attack, so that's why they can end up with the better chances. That's why we love the game. You can have all the possession you want, but if you're not going to be good on it, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. But it's obviously much better to try and be in control of the games instead of chasing it. But Bonnet and I can definitely see being pretty dangerous at that game plan, if I'm being honest. And I can see why it's maybe worked, but knowing David at Thorn, I don't think if he was conceding chances off the back of his own possession, I don't think he'll be happy with that, and I imagine he'll get to work with that as well.
He wasn't there yesterday. He sent me a message to say he was at a family wedding, and
that's a fine for him, surely.
I know, and he's not watched it back yet, but he does. He says from the sounds of it, the other coaches were telling me Bonnet were really stuffy and couldn't break them down. So it sounds as if both guys have got a fairly accurate assessment. And to be fair, when we played Bonnet at May Bowl again midweek, which was a nightmare, they were pretty similar, where they sat pretty deep, but they broke quick. They've got pace and power in the top
That's
end.
There's a skill involved in that as well, Jonny, because there's a lot of desire in the game plans. Because
plus as well, Poppy doesn't want to be running up to the halfway line and having to run back.
Was he playing? Is he?
Aye, well, he played against.
He set that up, and he's got them camping equipment for the 18 yard box.
I'll just sit at the edge of my 18-yard box and head the ball away. That'll do me fine.
And get wee fast wingers just to run. He's no daft.
Launch those diags into Jason Walker and Ryan Nisbet when you go.
He's no daft.
I know. Moving on, Maryhill 6-0 against Cali Locos.
Goal machines there, aren't they?
Maryhill, I know that's two in a bounce. I know I spoke to Mark today, just saying another good win, good clean sheet. They've won 2 and 4, but it's a good wee run. They were 3 up after 18 minutes. Scored 3. He'll not be
working on finishing this week at training.
I know. Because they took the foot off the gas a wee bit. Locals could have had a goal. Second half wasn't really anything to write home about, but they saw out the game. 14 goals in 2 games. It's no bad if you're Mary Hill manager, is it?
Definitely, you'll take that. The thing is, as well, against the locals, they're a dangerous team like that because they seem to be involved a lot in like high scoring games. You see them are a lot in like 6-5s, 4-3s, and all that. So even being 3-0 up against them, you're maybe thinking if there's probably a team that could get that back to a 3-3, it could be a team like them because they're involved in a lot of games like that. So to then come out and see it out and get another couple of goals, it's the holy grail for a manager, to be honest with you. Mark would have been buzzing with that when he get him.
Mm-hmm. And on the other side, it's a sore one. I heard a rumour that Danny Boyle stepped down. I don't know if you've heard anything.
Never seen that, mate.
I don't. I've not seen anything on social media. I might be completely wrong here, so I'm just throwing it out there.
Was that a co-manager?
Aye. So what I'd heard, and again, please correct me if you're watching and you know the story. Please correct me, or if you're watching after the time or listening in audio, send me a message on X. You can find me. My details are below. Let me know. Correct me, but I'd heard the rumour that Danny had stepped down and the co-manager was continuing on.
Right, okay. Fair enough. Don't really know what to make of that, but
it wouldn't be for me, in my opinion, if you're a I don't know. I'm maybe old school. I think you're a team and you work as a team and you live and breathe as a team kind of thing. But who knows? I might just be rubbish. I might just have spent the last 25 seconds wasting everybody's time.
You're just going back to annoying people again, aren't you? Back
I know. But listen, it's what I do best, and it's what gets the viewers up. So we'll keep going. Blantyre beating 4-3. Speaking of a team that is usually involved in high-scoring games, Forth don't seem to let us down very often. But Ross Wilson's Blantyre going really well. We played them. I was impressed with them. I think they'll be up the top end of the table near the end of the season.
He signed really well, Ross. He signed somebody I know, Jonny Cookman for Vale Clyde, who somebody I really rate. I like him as a player. Controls the middle of the park really well for me, Jonny. So I think he's a top signing for Blantyre. Obviously, they get Kieran Daw in. They signed another couple of boys as well, which is decent. And I think in Forth are not no mugs as well. They've got a couple of my older players as well. And I think it's a matter of time before Jerry and the guys get it right there as well. So no, it's good to pick up the points early, but I fancy Blantyre to be up there pushing for the league title, if I'm being honest with you. I fancy them to be up there.
Mm-hmm. And a game that was between two teams looking for their first win, Kilsyth Athletic and Ashfield, finished 3-2 to Kilsyth, so that'll be good for the new management team in at Kilsyth to get their first win. And
75 of them.
I know. I spoke to Aaron Connolly about the game, and he was just saying he just saying that first 3 points on the board, hopefully a monkey off their back, started the game positively, could have been 3-4 up in the first 20 minutes, but for the 70 minutes after was as poor as they've been. Ashfield will feel that they could have got something out the game. They didn't adapt well. He used the phrase that you used last week. They've played better and got nothing from the first 2 games against Bonnet and Les Mahago. So to grind it out against a really determined physical Ashfield team with a point to prove showed a different side to us. So I think when you're trying to coach boys to play, showing that they can knuckle down and with a bit of grit and determination and get that victory, that's really important.
I agree, Jonny. See, the thing is, when you're coaching boys to play, it's really because you spend so much time on trying to get them to play that certain way. But what the hardest bit is you've still got to earn the right to do it as well. And if the game turns into a battle, you've got to be able to do that as well. And then the space will load them up later on in the game. And I think, to be honest, me coaching that style of play, that's maybe sometimes something that my teams have maybe lacked. And it's maybe something that needs reiterated now and again, that here you need to roll the sleeves up. You can't just... There might be times that you need to sit behind the ball a lot of the time and do it. I remember we had one with Cali Braves last year and we set up quite defensively to sit behind the ball. And I was a wee bit worried about it because I thought, I've never asked them to do that. And they showed me a different side because I thought they were brilliant that day, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's a credit to the players because you know yourself, John, it takes a lot of concentration levels if you need to defend for 70 minutes, an hour, and somebody's just bombarding your box. It's a lot of headers, it's a lot of setting balls, it's a lot of draw them and squeezing, and it can take its toll. It just takes for you to switch off for that wee second, and they get a wee shot for the edge of the box and they're in. And so credit to them and well done. I'm pleased for all 75 managers and Azza and all the rest of it.
I'm not going to lie to you, Josh. I used to love those games, but that was
a big dirty centre half.
when you're 1-0 up, when there's like 15 to go, and you just knuckle down and just get everybody together at the edge of the box and defend it. And to use your phrase, I always like a bit of dropping and squeezing, so you're fine.
Hey, that's it. You and Poppy on the edge of the 18-yard box.
I know, but I think on a more kind of serious point, I think what it's about is it's about coaching the players to recognise when that's needed.
100%.
You know, like, yes, you have your principles and the way that you want to play, but you have to be able to trust them to know, right, we're in the last 15 minutes, we're 1-0 up, we're under the cosh a wee bit, let's flip the switch a wee bit and let's change up, you know. So
it's the game management, Jonny, but see,
that's such a hard thing to coach, boys. It's such a hard thing to coach.
Because I think it's only something you can get through experience and being in these scenarios, and it's almost like going, remember when we got to that? But game management isn't just the last 10 minutes. It could be the middle of a half. It could be the first 12 minutes. You know yourself, sometimes you start a game horrendously, you can't go. Right, oh, lads, we need to manage this a wee bit and make sure we don't concede in the first 15. And it can come at all different points. But as you say, I think that's where your experienced guys a lot of the time are worth the money into it, because they've been through that and they recognise they be periods in the game a lot quicker. And they sort of almost rally around the team a wee bit. It's like that on-pitch organisation into it, and they're a wee bit better at it. So what they went through there with a young group will stand them in really good stead. Because I dare say they're going to have to do it a few times throughout the season. That's just the way football goes.
Aye, and even watch Arsenal this afternoon. They start the second half for the 1-0 up. They're taking forever over by kicks and throw-ins and doing all that kind of thing as well. 100%. So it filters right into the top level. Right, okay, we'll get into the third division. Knightswood drawn 2-2 with Glasgow Perthshire. Surprised at that. This is one that I got wrong, by the way, as a pundit. I think I actually used the phrase, this is the easiest one to pick of the day. So that's actually...
that's you after a flyer, innit?
Bite me square in the bum. To be fair, PZ has said in the chat that he thought that I did pick the Lars result correct, but Des went with Pollock, so we settled in a draw. So I can't quite remember if that was the case, but I'll take it, PZ. Thanks very much. Thanks for your help. But Knightswood drawn with Perthshire. What do you think about that? Especially Knightswood 2-0.
Well, I'm actually going to look at it, because I was texting Mick literally just before I came on. So he said to me, drew 2-2 at Perthshire. They were 2-0 up, lost an equaliser in the 94th minute, and they were poor in the second half. And he's also added in that the ref wasn't very good, but he never said very good. He said something different in between that. So, aye, but that's what Mick's thoughts were, so I'll take him on that. He's pretty honest in his assessment. So
no, we spoke to him after the game as well, and he was the same. I think he was just a bit, and it probably comes back to our conversation that we've just had there about managing the game and the seeing it out and the different challenges that this division is bringing.
Especially Perthshire, that's a different ball game altogether, isn't there?
Aye, it's a different world, to be honest. Sometimes, but he was just kind of saying that, and obviously the refereeing and stuff. But I get what he's. I think. Do you know what I always say to people? And I always say to George at the side of the park whenever we're coaching and he's getting frustrated with the ref, I always say, look at the standard of the refs in the SPL. What chance have we got at level 8, 9, 10? Do you know what I mean? So.
It's hard not to go.
It's hard. It's really hard, and especially when you feel it's having an impact on the game, that's when it's especially hard. But I think
because they're never going to change their mind either, Jonny. So it is pointless. The shouting at them in the argy-bargy with them, it is pointless. But it's so hard.
Do it. We've all done it. I've done it myself. But I think Michael, when I spoke to him, I spoke to him again this morning, just kind of asking him if he had any kind of further thoughts, and he was just saying, "Nah, if feels the same. He's watched it back. He watched it back already, and with a couple of chances." But I think they'll probably look at back to what we were talking about. They've been promoted. These games that they'll need to learn how to see out these types of games, and they might look back in February, where they might have to go somewhere that's maybe not the best part in the world and a physical challenge, and maybe they will see it out, and maybe Michael will look back to this weekend and say, "Aye, we've came on a bit, we've improved."
See, to be honest with you, they're normally good at that. To be honest with you, I felt they played my WOSFL team towards the end of last year, and I think they were 2-0 up at half time, and we scored early in the second half. And I'll be honest, it was a bit of us bombarding them, but I felt they seen it out really, really well. But there's this thing with Knightswood that everybody talks about the experienced boys they've got, but they've actually got a load of young players in there, so it'll be really good for them. And they've got young players at crucial sides of the pitch, like in the back line, in the middle of the pitch as well. So it's a good thing for them because that's something they might not come up against. I dare say I can imagine what Persia was like yesterday. There have been loads of long throws, set pieces on top of you all the time, so it'd have been hard going for them. So that'll stand them in good stead. And Mick will no lie to them either. He's a very, very honest guy with how he assesses the game, and he'll not pull any punches where the flaws are in the game, and he'll expect it to be better.
No, definitely. Glasgow United got a victory down at Girvan, continuing the theme of Glasgow United being absolutely unable to predict. Listen, if I can't predict any other games, I'm definitely not going to be able to predict Glasgow United. But they scored in the last minute to beat Girvan 2-1. David Goodwillie scores in the 93rd minute. I spoke to Dino earlier. He sounded sick, to be honest. He says they should have won the game. They should have sought it out. It was just, and then they get stung with a bit of quality for Goodwillie at the end of the game.
Dino got a good result. Was it midweek or?
Aye, they beat Craigmart midweek. Yeah.
Aye. So that'll be scunnering for him because that'd have probably been him looking to go on a run there, to be honest with you. So that'll be annoying him. But listen, obviously Goody was at Clyde when I was there, and I'm not surprised. That's just what he does, to be honest with you. That he scores winners, he pops up, and his team needs a goal, and that's what he does. And if it's no him, it's Temps. If it's no him, it's Effie. Who knows? It could be MD. But Glasgow United are a team for me that need to kick on with the squad of players that they've got and what they've got. And I think I said this last year as well. When you've got somebody that ilk up front, and he definitely produces goals. It's not like his goal return's poor, so his goal return's high. It's maybe getting that wee extra bit, pitching in for the rest of the pitch and making sure that you're up the top end of the league. But I think that's where they should be aiming. And I think Dino, he'll bounce back for that as well. He's no daft. He knows what he's doing.
Aye, I felt for him. I felt for him yesterday. It's funny because usually when I send the message out to the managers on a Sunday, and again, thanks to all the managers if you're watching for getting back to me. I really appreciate it. Actually, it's the reason that these podcasts go so long is because I want to cover as much as I possibly can for everybody watching. So hopefully it's reflected in the quality of what we're putting out. But Dino usually sends a voice message, and you could hear in his voice how he was feeling, you know.
I know. Listen, I hate it as well because I've been there, and it's horrible. Ruins your full weekend, to be honest with you. Just don't want to talk to him. You just don't want to do anything. And I dare say Dean had to get him and had a pint or something. He would have been him and done that.
I know. Craigmart 2, St Anthony's 2. I was a bit surprised at this, especially the start of the game. St Anthony's raced into a 2-0 lead. Spoke to Jordan Banks. To be fair, he said it could have been 4 or 5 to St Anthony's at half time. Much better team. They get a reaction. Craigmart get a reaction at second half, get a penalty, and then continued pressure, find the equaliser in the 94th minute. An own goal for St Anthony's, which is a killer in the 94th minute. But see, for Martin Montgomery and the guys, it probably feels like a sickener and a bit of a defeat. But when he settles down and looks at it, he'll see it as a good point, I feel.
And it gives the boys a bit of belief as well, because they've not had an easy time of it, have they? So it's one of the ones that 24 hours to be done about it, and then you need to go and analyse it properly and say, no, what, we get a point, we roll the sleeves up, we move on to it. But it sounds like they should have been out of sight, so that'll be even more annoying. So I dare say that he'll not be happy with that, and he'll maybe rue the chances. But it's funny when you're on the sideline, because see, when you're missing the chances, I don't know if it's just the old Scottish mentality, but see, when you're missing the chances, you just know that
you're just waiting, aren't you?
You're waiting, aren't you? And I don't know if it's just you wish it on yourself. I don't really know. I've always tried to go the other way with it and try to be reverse psychology, but it always bites you, doesn't it? It does, all the time.
There's many ways that football bites you in the backside, and that is usually one of them. To be fair, I did speak to Martin, the St Anne's manager, and he did say that he probably reiterated exactly the same as what Jordan said, and then said that when we look back, it'll be a good point, a tough place to go, improving week on week, and confident the wins will come. So, fingers crossed, things start to starting to move in the right direction for Martin and the boys at St
Good,
Anthony's. And
I wish them well.
Craig Matt, that's 3 home games in a week and 2 draws and a defeat. I'm a bit surprised.
Seen that? I watched the highlights against the Port as well. That was an eventful game. Did you see that? That was a bit of a mad game, that as well. So I think Craig Mark will do well. They had a really strong start against Knightswood. Craig Mark, and it probably.
Well, they beat Knightswood, they beat Ardea.
That's right.
And then they draw with Port, get beat off Girvan, draw with St Ant. So they've probably beaten teams that are going to be round about them. You know, at the top end of the table, and then no kind of taking care of the teams in the bottom half of the table just now. So it's an interesting one, and it'll be something that I'm sure they'll be working to improve. Okay, mate, on to the 4th division. Result: Irvine Vicks 3, Eglinton 4. Irvine Vicks 2-0 up at half time, and end up getting beat 4-3. I did speak to Ben Carson. Let me just find it in my massive amount of WhatsApps. Just saying, story of the season, losing far too many goals. Looked like they could score 10 a game, but lose 11. Game should be done at half time. 2-0 up, missed 3 or 4 good chances. Fair play to Eglinton, stayed in the game. Irvine Vicks go down to 10 at 3-2 and absolutely killed us. Need to learn from it and have a better mentality, enjoy defending, doing the dirty side of the game. Exactly stuff we were talking about. Fresh young squad, but we'll learn from it. But it's happened a couple of times now. It happened against West Park and it's happened on Saturday. So it will be cause for concern for Ben and the guys.
Do you know, it's a hard one that Ben's got there because they are so good. They seem to be poor in one box and good in the other box, but it's quite a hard balance to get because you need to find the balance of, and I've had this before, and you can sometimes go too much the other way and you end up taking away for your goals as well. So you end up like you're not scoring, but you're not conceding anymore, and you're like, what am I happier with? Was I happier with scoring and conceding? It does, you're not, and that's where it's trying to find that holy grail. But I always find with stuff like that is there'll be a common theme how you're conceding the goals and the type of goals that you're conceding, and it's maybe just looking at that as well, and that flies the man nothing. So it might be a case of finding out what that common theme is. What's the common goal that you're conceding, or is it just a variety of them? But you'd normally find there's like a pattern emerging, and it's maybe just a case of looking at that. It might be your setup off the ball. It might be you're not defending wide areas enough. It might be you're not defending the box enough. It could be, there will be a common theme in it, and it's finding that and working on it, I think, and try to find out why you're conceding in it. So it might not be keyhole surgery. It might only be keyhole surgery, no open heart surgery at that. And Ben's done really well. To be fair, he's turned the club around. To be honest, and I'll be honest, I watched their highlights quite a bit. They're a good watch. I'll tell you that. You get value for watching that game because there's always plenty of goals. It'll drive Ben up the wall, but it'll not drive me up the wall.
No, definitely not. And Eglinton, they're having an unbelievable start to the season. We were talking about it in the show yesterday. Kevin Deeney getting in there.
So what's the setup at Eglinton then? Because I seen
Kevin Deeney's went in as manager, and we were talking. We actually sent him a couple of players in pre-season because he was struggling just to get bodies in. And the start of the season, played 5. They're still to lose a game this season. It's an incredible.
And has he still got the players?
No. He brought in Tommy Maitland from us, who was ex-co-winning and Troon. Tommy will be a really good player for him.
Man of the match through the week against the Albert.
Aye, Tommy will be great. We were actually really disappointed to lose him, but he wanted to stay local. He's from North Ayrshire, and I think he coaches his kids' football team and stuff like that. So he wanted to stay local, which is fine, which is fair enough. But he'll be a big boost for them. But it's a really good start for them.
Aye, obviously they played Royal Albert through the week, and I think the Albert had to score late on to get a point off them.
Aye.
But bar Saturday, they don't tend to concede a lot of goals either, to be honest with you. They seem to be quite defensively sound, and so it's good signs because they'll get better, to be honest with you. I think he got that quite late on. Obviously, you're saying he was struggling at the start. So there's been a bit of firefighting for him at the start, and amongst all that. So they'll definitely get better as the season goes on. So it's good strides already with them early on, and he probably wasn't expecting a good start, to be honest with you, the way it started for him. So now that he's got a good start, he'll be just hoping to push it on as much as possible. And that'll help him get better players in because he's doing better in the league, and it snowballs into loads and loads of stuff for him. So Aye, fair play to him, because I dare say that would have been a shift for him early on in the season to get all these bodies in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, speaking about Royal Albert, they got a good 2-1 win against Newmains. Newmains have been going well. Spoke to Conor Whitelaw, the Royal Albert manager. He was just saying that they're down to. He was saying they're down to the absolute bare bones. He was saying credit to Newmains. They went 1-0 up, but he felt that Royal Albert were very good, missing a lot of chances, but got a winner with the last kick of the ball. So we bit up and down just now, 3 draws and 2 wins. But we've got the bare bones and we're starting to grind out results.
Aye, listen, I think it's again, like, sometimes you need to dig in the heels sometimes for the Albert, and they maybe need to dig in the heels now because of their injury worries. But the fact is, they're no losing games, so that's a good place to be. But again, you don't want to keep drawing too many as well. That's the issue. So they'll be delighted to get the 3 points yesterday. I've not even really spoke to Jonny much about it either to see how the game went. I've not really wanted to speak to him there about football, to be honest with you, since my game yesterday. So I'm not really. I'll maybe do that Monday with him. But no, I'm delighted for them. Good guys there, and they work extremely hard. And I think the Albert are similar to Egon. I think they'll go for strength to strength because they'll start to get the players back, and they've got good players missing as well. So once they come in, they'll make the team even stronger, I think. And I also seen pictures of their pitch, which is notoriously quite poor, but the pitch looked magnificent at fireworks, so it did.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know how long it'll last, but right now it looks brilliant, so go with that.
Aye. Yep, absolutely. Vale leaving, get a really solid 8-0 win against Campbelltown. That's after losing 4-1 to Carluke at the start of the season. They've then went on to beat Saltcoats 4-0, BSC 6-0, and Campbelltown 8-0. It's a good reaction to losing the first game of the season.
And keeping the 0 there as well is the most important thing. That's the big thing for them. And listen, I wouldn't say I'm totally shocked with an 8-0 scoreline. I think that was in the 6-0 at BSC. The only thing I was shocked about is BSC have actually conceded less goals now, which is good for them. But I think I fancied Vale leaving. They were one of my picks, actually, that I thought would be in around about the top 3, to be honest.
Aye, I think so too.
Maybe just a wee while to kick on, but I think once they get up and running, they'll be absolutely fine, Jonny, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so too. And I think Carluke, I fancy Carluke to have a good season. So that result at the start of the season maybe wasn't.
I watched them midweek against West Park. Carluke and West Park. Aye, the two teams were good, if I'm being honest. Two of them were quite organised, quite stuffy. It was a roasting night, to be honest. It was a good night to go out and watch a game. But and West Park, a bit of a mad game. West Park scored to bring it back to 2-1. Then the guy gets sent off that scored about 3 minutes later for kicking out at somebody when he was probably about to get a free kick on the edge of the box in a dangerous area, and he's just drew the boot off him. And I was like, what's he done that for? And then there was handballs and all that. It was mental. It was a good game to watch. But I think with Carluke as well, I don't think Carluke are at top gear now either. So I think once they'll eventually kick on even better as well. So I think that league's going to get stronger as the season goes on, to be honest with you, because a lot of teams seem to have got better for the year previous that weren't so good before. So I think that'll be a tight league.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And finally, just touching on Wishaw. Wishaw, that's now 2 wins in the bounce for them. Good result yesterday against Euro team WOSFL.
Aye. I'll be honest, I don't know too much about the two teams, if I'm being honest with you. I don't know too many of the WOSFL players that have been brought in. I know some of the boys at Wishaw as well. One of my old players is in there. He said the game was pretty deserving to go to Wishaw, to be honest with you. And I think they've kept a clean sheet, which is something they've not notoriously done in the past, even win games, to be honest with you. So the fact that they're winning again, keeping clean sheets, it's good for them to keep motoring on. And the guys like Neely and Martin and stuff that are at the helm, they're trying to really improve the club off the pitch, and they're trying to do things the right way. So I think they'll push on as well. It's just going to be a bit of a journey for Wishaw. I don't know if it'll come maybe too soon this year for the top 8. But again, I don't know what's happening with the 4th division. I've heard that they're going to amalgamate it with the 3rd division, and they're going to regionalise it, all this carry on. So who knows what's going on?
Well, so what I've heard was that they were looking at running it as a division of 8.
That's mince, isn't it?
And I thought that was my initial reaction to it, to be honest, Josh. But then I heard I was contacted by somebody from the West of Scotland Football League that kind of told me the reasoning behind it around the fact that they've put it in the constitution this year that no club will get relegated or get moved down a division.
Right.
So they can't then move teams around to make the division more, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So when you put it like that, it does kind of make sense. But then on the flip side of that as well, is I've also heard a rumour that they're going to be opening up applications for potential new teams as well.
Right, okay, so it might go up even to a 10-team league at most.
It might go up a wee bit depending on what happens. So it'll be interesting. But when it was explained to me in that way, I kind of got it, because if you're in the third division, you say you finish, I don't know, you finish 7th in the third division.
No, I get it completely. It's rubbish, to be honest with you. It's rubbish, that actually. I knew that you've explained it.
And I was the same, because I reacted exactly the same as you. It was PG actually mentioned it to me on the show last week. And I reacted the exact same way as you did, and then somebody from West of Scotland got in touch with me to have a conversation about it.
That's what we do, Jonny. We open up the can of worms and then somebody closes.
That's it. Listen, as I always say, we just work with the information we're given and then we fill in the blanks. And usually, so, and sometimes it's right, sometimes it's wrong. Right, Craig's saying that we shouldn't even cover this South Challenge Cup, says it's a horrible competition. But Craig, we're going to. So you've had an hour of us talking about the league. We are going to talk about the South Challenge Cup. If you want to stick around, great. Please do, because we've got some good stuff to talk about. In fact, you've put a comment in the chat asking about potential new managers for Benburb. So that's where we'll start. I thought that was a really surprising result. Yoker have had a decent start to the season, but I didn't see them going to Benburb and winning 3-1.
I think they were 3-0 up as well, Jonny, weren't they? By all accounts, cruising in the game.
And then we find out that the Winters boys have left Benburb.
Is it the whole management team that's left?
So according to the statement on X, Benburb management duo Davy and Robbie Winters, as well as goalkeeping coach Billy Kerr, have left the club by mutual consent.
Right, okay. I don't know. I'm trying to think who's currently on a job. Tony McNally, maybe? Would that be something that would entertain him?
Tony McNally, yep.
Just try to think, you guys.
I'm sorry, I've forgotten his name. The ex-Athley manager. There was a Villa Clyde.
Kevin Rukovic.
No, that was a Villa Clyde, went to Athley and then left Athley during the season there. When all the
Colin Riley.
Aye,
he's in it. Well, he's in it. Shots. Right. Joining now. Right. So, that could be something he could do as well. I dare say he'll throw his name in for that. Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe they're just going to try to put two and two together, aren't you?
You're just trying to think of people that could possibly go for it. Colin's a good shout, actually.
It depends what route they're going down as well, because they've obviously went for relatively inexperienced manager with David and Robbie. They might want to then go back to a more experienced manager, or they might go down another route. I don't know. Maybe there's somebody in the background there that could step up. Do you know what I mean?
Paul Lovren again. Do we see Paul Lovren come back in? Maybe done a great job.
There's always going to be that connection because of his dad, isn't there?
He done brilliant the last time. I thought he done excellent his last time.
Amazing. But it'll be interesting to see. But I think Colin Riley would be my kind of suggestion if you were asking me for a shout. But it's a great result. But focus on Yoker. Great result for them.
Aye, definitely. We've got somebody on loan at Yoker as well. Kieran McNair, so he said they're a good side as well. So I'm pleased for them. It's always good to see the lower league teams get a good result like that as well. So it just shows you, it gives them a bit of confidence as well. So fair play. And listen, I don't know the Winter Brothers at all. I've never spoke to them, so I dare say they've maybe just thought, it sounds like they've resigned, so they've maybe just thought enough's enough, because I know they've not had a good start to the season, so they've maybe just thought, no, it's not working, and maybe being a bit selfishly and said somebody else needs a go at this because it's not working under the current restraints. Who knows? But I'm sure you know what it's like in the West, Jonny. It'll come out eventually why they left. Maybe a couple
I know, and it's a shame. You never like to see managers leaving, and it's we're not even out of August yet, and we've already got the first one, potentially two with Cali locals. It's we don't like that.
2.5, because only one of them's left at Cali.
Well, 1.5 then, wouldn't it?
1.5, right?
Aye. So, right, we'll crack through some of these results. Basically, I'm going to go through guys that I've spoken to, basically, and we'll get stuck into them. So,
which is everybody.
Aye, which is everybody. So the podcast will probably be about 4.5 hours. Thornywood beating Albion Rovers in pens. Fantastic.
Aye, really good. I know Sandy and George at the Rovers have had to work extremely hard over the summer to even get a squad on the pitch. I don't think it's Albion Rovers of old, if I'm honest with you, but they've still got a right good squad together there. And they've had a good start to the league campaign, Albion Rovers, so there's no shine took off of that at all. But Adam and the boys at Thornywood, they've impressed me so far, to be honest with you. I think they'll be right up there. I wasn't shocked with it in the slightest, to be honest with you. Actually, somebody was speaking to me about it, and I said actually fancy Thornywood for it, to be honest with you. I think I knew they'd go in, they'd be up for it. They've got good players. And
Adam said the same when I spoke to him, Josh. He said the same, that he was really impressed with Albion Rovers, the way they played. Did some really, really good players. And we'd heard that as well, because Des had watched them against Cumbernauld Colts. We were talking about it yesterday in the studio. But he was really delighted to get the 0-0 and then to win it on penalties. He was absolutely buzzing. But do you know what it is for me, Josh? It's a great advert for our level.
Aye, it is, but I think it doesn't surprise us now, does it? Because between the South Challenge Cup, the Scottish Cup, the senior one, we see the West sort of throwing their weight about in it now and again in the last couple of years, haven't we? We've seen that on the sort of one-off games that the teams in our league are more than capable of beating these teams in these leagues. So it doesn't necessarily surprise me, but it doesn't take the shine off it as well. But for me, I think Thornywood are a proper team, and I expect big things for them this season, to be honest with you. I really, really like them. Like the signings they've made. I like the way they play. Totally revamped the club, in my opinion, the way they're doing things. So I'm a big lover of Thornywood so far.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you. Dorai against Trinent. Dorai 2, Trinent 3. I spoke to Chris Wilson, the Dorai manager. Says it started really well, went behind to a pen after 25 minutes, and then a crazy 3-minute spell towards the end of the first half. They lost 2 terrible goals and 3-0 down. Boys could have folded in the second half, but stuck to it. Got goals back on 70 and 80. Keeper makes a great save in the last minute from Fraser Cowan. Overall, really good performance apart from that crazy 3-minute spell. Very proud of the players. It's a positive result against a really good Trinent side.
I think the thing with that is, just as we were talking about previously, it's the wee margins, isn't it? That wee 3-minute spell that's probably messed the game up for you. And it's that wee spell, and if the boys could go back and play that wee spell again, they would do everything so much different. Do you know what I mean? Because it'd be interesting to see exactly what's happened in that wee spell that he's talking about, that wee bit that just wasn't quite right. But for me, like, let's be honest, I think we were probably all expecting a very comfortable win for Trinent, and that when you see the draw. Let's be totally frank about it. So the fact that they've pushed them for a 3-0 down deficit as well is a huge credit to Dorai, and fair play to them, and they'll take loads of confidence for it. And I do feel when you're the lower league club going to play these teams, it's important that you take something away from it, and you take something positive away from it. Not necessarily a result, but as long as you can come away from that in a good place. And I was always, actually, we had Darvo at one point, and we had Cali Braves, and you just need to come away from it in a positive mindset of going, no, what, we've done ourselves justice there. Because you do worry when you're the lower league team. Managers are lying if they say they don't worry when they go and play these top teams, because you don't want to go in and get scudded 6, 7, 8, 9s and 10s. But let's be honest, it's on the back of your heads when we're thinking about it, and the draw gets made, you go, oh no, that better not end up like that, because it can happen so quickly. It can happen so quickly with the right math. There you go, 3 minutes, boom, they've scored 2 goals, you know what I mean? So, and then you're probably thinking at half time, I hope they don't come out with their tails up and it's 4, 5 and 6 quite quick, and then they start bringing the cavalry on and all that, and they start making subs. So fair play to Dorai. They've dug in and they've done well for themselves, and they'll do
It showed a lot of character for the team, especially to come back against a top side like Trinent. Okay, Ardea beat Pumferston 7-0. Probably not much to discuss regarding the game, but Sean Kenny was just saying that they started the game fast, went ahead after 6 minutes and never really let go from there. Really professional performance. Good to get plenty of goals and clean sheet. It's probably the most we could have got out of the game with the goals they scored, clean sheet, made changes to the team, so really happy. he's been saying for ages that he felt someone was going to be on the receiving end of a sore one against us, and it proved yesterday.
Good. It's also good to see Sean back in the sidelines. I've seen that he missed a game because he was unwell, so it's good to hear that he's back and amongst it. And it sounds like it would have been a great day for him, and all. They're brilliant as a manager when you know you're winning the game and you can just get the slippers on a wee bit. You do that odd one, didn't you, where you don't want the standards to drop at 6-0 down when you start shouting at people, but it doesn't really. It doesn't matter. You end up going, you get the clean sheet. Boys are happy coming down. Everybody gets a few goals on the tally, and it's all good in the hood, isn't it?
I know. Cumbernauld versus St Peters. Spoke to Kenny Henderson, St Peters manager. Game finished 4-3 to Cumbernauld. He was saying the attitude was superb. Every player gave 100%. Gutted left without taking anything. Some goals were outstanding, especially first and third. Let down losing soft goals, but what a platform we've gave ourselves to build on as we close in on a few tough weeks with Carluke and EK Thistle coming up.
I love Kenny's assessment of games. They're brilliant. Have you ever read his wee match reports? He doesn't.
I know he's brilliant.
He's a great guy, Kenny. To be honest with you, I speak to him quite a bit. He's funny, man. He just says what's in his head at the time, and I'm pleased for him as well because he had a really tough start to the league campaign. He had so many boys away with injuries and holidays, and it wasn't really giving a true reflection of his team and the work that him and the guys do there. And slowly but surely, when he started to get his boys back in, he started to get back up to competing again, which is really good for him, and I'm pleased for him because he puts a hell of a lot of work in, Kenny, to be honest. Not even just to the first team, Kenny puts so much effort into the whole club. Like he does a lot to get the many kickers and all that set up. He's really got his finger in a lot of pies at St Peters, and he's trying to fix a lot of things. So I'm really pleased for him because it's yourself, John. If you see so many guys that put that much work in, you always want them to get their flowers a wee bit as well and do well because you know the effort that they're putting in. So I was gutted for him, but pleased for him and all because he competed and it wasn't a sore one for him as well.
You're right. I mean, I'm the same. Like, getting to know so many managers on this platform has been brilliant, and it's you want everybody to do well.
You do. Same with you with George, mate. Like obviously George is our mate, and
well, there's only two managers in the whole region that I don't want to do well, and I won't name them. But anyway, moving on. BSC and I know BSC and Vela Leithen. BSC 2-1 up at half time. Interestingly, against that, spoke to Barry McColgan, the manager in there. Played really well first half. Could have been out of sight after Vale were reduced to 10 men. Conceded right on the edge of half time and second half to get caught out. Needless fouls. BSC got a man sent off, and he says it was just disappointing because they targeted playing with high tempo attack, did well first 45, but just couldn't maintain it. But a good turnaround at BSC for Barry and the guys.
Aye, because listen, my last visit there, I think we won 9-0. I think it was, and I think I spoke to you after it, Jonny, didn't I? Says like nobody's really getting anything for the games. Like we didn't really get anything for it. BSC certainly don't get anything for it. So to see them competing, it's more for their level as well, Jonny. I hate looking at the leagues and the results, and you're seeing like huge deficits for teams week on week of getting beaten at 6-0, 7-0, 8. I hate seeing that, to be honest with you. I just love to see a good competitive league and everything's tight and close. And you can get the odd week where you get hammered. That's fair enough. But no every week. Do you know what I mean? And you don't want it to make it's almost like a bit of. I felt it was a wee bit of mockery of the league, if I'm being totally honest. I did. Like, I just thought that just doesn't look right. Do you know what I mean? We're meant to be a good level of football here. But for me, like, I was pretty pleased to see that BSC have started to kick on and proper compete again. And even just wee things like beating their points tally for last year in the league in the first two games it's like small wins, and what a lot of work that Barry and the guys would have had to have done there to even get it to this level, and then they're going to have to push again, and things like yesterday are good because you've competed, you're showing that you can do it. It's now, can you do it for a longer period of time, and showing them the positives for playing that way, and can you now do it? Can you carry it into the next half or whatever? And as you say, game management, if it comes to a point you're a bit tired, can you sit off the game for 15 minutes and then go again? All these wee things, but again, that's where the learning is. But at least they're in a better spot to do that than for where they were.
Yeah. Moving on, Bellshill 1, Arthurlie 4. Spoke to Jonny Fallon. He just said that they made a few changes, get some minutes into a few who have been injured over the last few weeks in pre-season. Athley's quality in the final third and experience defensively was clear and showed the golfing divisions. But he's saying the bread and butter's the league, and they'll now get the full focus, and attention ahead of Larkhall next week. I wish I'd known he was making changes before I picked him to win.
Aye. Maybe that's why he done it. Maybe he drew picking them, then he made the changes, who knows.
But they've had such a strong start to the season, Bells Hill. You can understand where he's coming from, can't you?
Aye, because what's probably in his mind now is they can win it.
Well, they're not going to win they're not going to win the South Challenge Cup, are they? So
no, I know, but again, at the same time,
and they're going to need their squad to win the league. So if they get the chance to get boys fit, then
I bet he was fighting himself a wee bit there, I know, but Jonny, because I bet his team's on a good run. He's probably thinking we could go and take something off the Athley here if we just go full strength. So he's probably had to pick the team with his brain there, know his heart. You know what I mean? And fair play to him. Now it's very clear. Full focus on the league. The boys know what they're doing, and you've got a few minutes into everybody else.
Yep. And I'm looking forward to speak to Jonny next week on the show. Last one for me, Josh, Gartcairn and St Andrews. I fancy Gartcairn to win this, but
I was shocked at that.
I spoke to Ryan McStay. He was just saying that they started really well, got a goal in the first 2 minutes, settled down, taking the game at St Andrews, should have had a penalty. Brian Wharton had to come off, so they had to make a few positional changes, which didn't kind of help as they're doing to the bare bones and gave away a cheap goal. Second half, they didn't get going. Second half, they've scored an absolute screamer, and then St Andrews got a penalty in the last minute when they're chasing it. They should have got one in 10 minutes before that, but it was just another strange call for the ref. They made a decision on Friday, again, similar to Bells Hill, to freshen the team up and have a few. And as a few have been playing with injuries, and they've got 2 massive home games coming up, so they decided to rest Hutton, McCluskey, Morgan, and Houston was missing as he had his wedding. But he says St Andrews deserved their place in the next round. But it sounds similar to Bells Hill, where they've probably made decisions with their head, targeting what their long-term objective is, which is getting back to the Premier League.
Aye, definitely. And I don't think they'll have any problems in doing that, Jonny, to be honest.
I don't think so, the way they've started.
Nah, I don't think they will. They're another team who I think will get better as well. Seen in an interview that they've brought in the vests and stuff, so they're trying to take it in a better direction, try to use the vest properly, and they sound like they're trying to do things right there. They've brought through a few young players for the academy, which obviously been close to Gartcairn. It's something they've done in the past, but maybe in the last couple of years it's maybe not quite worked. So it's good to see that pathway in full swing, because there's a lot of good players that come through it. So, and probably some of them got a run out yesterday, which would have been good for them. So, listen, it's the only thing with Gartcairn is they're a team that could possibly win the South Challenge Cup. If they really put their mind to it, they could do so. But again, who are we to tell McStay who to pick and all the stuff? If he's seen it as he's got 2 big home games coming up, and see if he goes and gets the 6 points, then he's done the right thing. Do you know what I
mean? Yeah, I agree with you. Completely. I'm just checking to see they play Thorneywood next week, so
that'll be a tough game. That'll be a good game, actually. By the way,
it will be.
It's
at Gartcairn, okay, a couple of just comments in the chat. Midtown Sheriff just saying Kello winning away to East Premier side Hutchie Vale. Game of the day. I thought that was when I was looking through the results last night when I was putting them in my wee video printer, I noticed that one, and I thought it was a really good result for Razor and the boys at Kello. That's a really strong result.
It is, because obviously Kello had it. Say Greg left. I think his assistant took over, eh?
Yeah.
So, and obviously then they lost.
And I always forget his name. His nickname's Razor, and I always forget his actual name, which is.
I spoke away him to the last 2 games we played. Him and Greg, 2 lovely guys, to be honest with you, 2 great guys. I spoke away to them at the last 2 games we played them, and I can't think of that striker's name that they lost as well. They lost the wee boy EKYM. I can't think his name. Greg Miller. The wee boy Greg Miller, they lost him, who was a big player for them. So they've had to do a bit of shuffling about in the decks there. So to go and have a steadier start to the season and doing well in the cup with a right good result, fair play to them. Shows a lot of good work getting done there.
Yep, and George Doherty's just mentioning there about, I think we'd spoken about this one, Glenvale drawn 2 each with Glenafton. Only to lose 12 on penalties. But aye, great performance from Glenvale. I think they were ahead as well in the game too. Were they 2-0 up? Or?
I I was actually speaking to Lewis quite briefly before he came on. Speak to Lewis quite often, to be honest. He said they were well in the game and he felt they should have won it, to be honest with you. And for what I've heard from other people, that seems like an honest assessment for Lewis. But again, I'm not surprised because Glenvale have dangerous players at the top end of the pitch as well who can score against anybody as well, and they've got a decent midfield. So I'm not surprised, but some penalty shoot at that. That must have been background the players again. That one, managers were hitting penalties in that.
I know the old woman for the pie stall and all that kind of thing taking them. Johnston Borough going to Bo'ness and winning 4-2, I think was a really good result as well. Bo'ness are a strong Lowland League side. They obviously, to use words, were obliterated Johnston Borough during pre-season, but Johnston Borough turning up.
Who said that?
Oh, I think Paul said it in our podcast. It was funny. It was a point of conjecture with
it. Was that not the same podcast? But he tipped Wishaw to win the league and on, and he got back on it.
I think he was mentioning it was brought up to me by the Johnston Borough coaching staff. Were just saying it's like to Camden. It's only pre-season, so they go back up there in competitive stuff, and Johnston Borough turned them over 4-2. Great result for them.
Aye, it is, and obviously was that their return game after the Hurlford game as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they would have needed that reaction. In fairness, the boys have given them it. So against a top side. So no, it's just good that they're hitting form now, and it good win to go and play Pollock next. That sounds brilliant, doesn't it?
I know Blair Roster scored another absolute screamer. I don't know what
he's screamer against Kilwin and Rangers.
I know. And he scored one again the following week. It was against Cumnock, a good one as well. I think. I don't know what he's been taking during the summer, but whether he's been on the creatine or whatever he's been doing, but he's absolutely. I was going to say something dodgy there, but then I get cancelled again.
You say creatine there?
I know. Creatine doesn't even make sense. It would just make him big muscles. It wouldn't make him any better at football. But he's absolutely flying this season.
Fair play to him.
He's a very good player. I'm not saying it's a surprise that he's flying, but he started the season on fire.
I actually seen him against EKYM in pre-season and on. He scored a screamer in that as well, to be honest with you. So it's something he's followed on for pre-season, it looks like. So, but I think he now misses the next game because I think he was one of the ones that gets sent off for Johnston Borough midweek. So I think he misses the next game. So hopefully he can't score for the stands. Hopefully, so that's good.
Well, you never know the way he's playing now. You never know.
You'll have a go at it.
I know. I spoke to Greg Mitchell, Johnston Borough coach. He was just saying that the game was a cracker. They started well, lost a goal to a set piece, decent reaction, had loads of the ball, scored last kick before half time, which is always good, isn't it? When you're 1-0 down, see if you get that, go in half time, one each.
Sometimes you can just flip your team talk as well.
I know. And then they changed shape a bit yesterday, which is interesting given the fact that they get a sore one in midweek. So they've obviously looked at it and made a few changes. And I think they did quite a few missing for yesterday as well. So that makes it even more impressive. So well done to Johnston Borough. Anything stick out for you, Josh, that we've not covered in the South Challenge Cup?
I think I did take share there. Obviously, Kilwinning scoring another 8 goals is, again, I think I said
against 2 teams as well.
Against what?
Against 2 teams.
I know. So I wasn't like I know
Wigton and Bladnoch.
I've been doing there. That was actually my last game.
That joke just right out of your head there, didn't it?
What did you say? Oh, 2 teams because right, I get it. Jonny's
move on. We'll get PG edit that.
We've been on this for an hour and 18 minutes, mate. You've got my head scrambled egg, but no, it's good to see. It's good to see them playing. Scoring 2 goals is massive for them as well. But for them, I'm not surprised because I've always really enjoyed Kev's teams. I've always loved the way they play. Like they've got the handbrake off. They just go for it. They try and score plenty of goals, and I've always liked them. Even his Cali Locals team was like that. They just scored loads of goals, and same he's carried that into Kilwinning and Rangers. So I think they're a dangerous team to play because they'll put you under constant pressure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the only two ones that I'm going to touch on just before we finish is Easterhouse beating Threave 3-2.
Who's that? Sorry, mate, you broke up there. What did you say?
Easterhouse beating Threave.
I seen that, by the way. That was a shock. Not a shocker because Easterhouse are a good side, but Threave have been flying recently as well. They're a right good team, and I fancy Threave to come through the leagues, to be honest with you. I think they've got everything there. Good set. Obviously, I've had the luxury of being down there. Great committee, good fan base, good setup. They've got everything, so I fancy them to do pretty well. But that's a great result for Andy and the boys at Easterhouse. But again, no one to be shocked because Andy really sets his teams up really, really well, to be honest with you. And he would have had a good game plan getting into the Threave game.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And last but not least, when we're talking about a reaction from Hurlford, Drumchapel bouncing back from the midweek, carry on the 8-2 defeat to go in to win 4-0 against Oakley. It must, Adam Hopes would have been over the moon at getting a clean sheet in that one.
He would have been. He wasn't happy about it, Hopey, was he? He doesn't hide that fact, so that would have really annoyed him, to be honest with you. So I was pleased for that, that they bounced back, because I think Oakley are a decent side. I think they've signed pretty well up there. I know a couple of boys that have signed up there. So it's a good result. And to get the clean sheet after conceding 8, that's all you'd have been looking for, is that 0. You would have took a 1-0 at that point, because it scunners you when you lose the amount of goals in a game.
I know. Right, mate, I think we've covered it all. I think we've covered most of it. If I haven't spoken about your team, then I'm sorry, but we'll get back to full league business next week, hopefully, and we'll see how things go. But Josh, thank you, as always, for your time, and good luck for the rest of the season to you and the guys up at Pollock.
Perfect, mate. I've enjoyed it, and you guys at the Pyramid Promotions podcast, keep up the good work, because you do a lot to shine a light on it, and good to see the radio back as well. And you have now sorted yourselves out with Clobber, which is absolutely brilliant. Actually seen guys at that Carluke West Park game. He's just wandering about and he just talks to everybody. That's what he does. But no, it was good to be on, mate. I enjoy it. And you keep up the good work as well.
Thanks very much, mate. And just a reminder to everybody that is watching, if you could hit that like button and subscribe to the Pyramid Promotions channel. Just do it now while I'm talking. Just click the like button. It takes 2 seconds and it makes a big difference. If you're listening on audio form, please rate and review and download the episode on your podcast network. It means a lot to us as well. Final shout out to our sponsors, Roxburgh Insurance Brokers, VSN, and GLA Chauffeurs. Now, Josh, I usually tally up the goals and work out the average for the course of the weekend. I've only focused on the league this weekend, but we're still 71 goals in 18 games, which averages out at 3.9 goals per game just in the league game. So always value for money in the West of Scotland Football League. If you're looking for it, then dig out a tenner and go and support your local West of Scotland Football League team, because I'm sure they'll appreciate it. Until 7 p.m. next Sunday, I'm Jonny Baillie. He's been Josh Gardner. Take care of yourselves and each other. Cheers.